Immerse yourself in the captivating, enigmatic world of the unsolved case of Alonzo Brooks, a young man whose mysterious death captivated and baffled investigators and the public alike 20 years ago. Let's follow the twists and turns of the investigation, the haunting questions that remain, and why the case was reopened decades later. In April 2004, on a night like any other, a young African-American man named Alonzo Brooks, 23, from a small Kansas town called Garner, south of Kansas City. Alonzo decides to go to a party with 3 of his friends, all white, in a rural area of a nearby town called Lansing, which is about a 50-minute drive from Garner, even further south. The young people at the party are all between 17 and 23, and it is a party of all of the usual things for young people of that age. It means music, girls, and booze. According to one of his friends with whom he came to the party, Alonzo integrated quickly and was already trying to pick up one of the girls present. Before continuing, it's worth mentioning that racism was present in many small towns at the time, and Lansing was no exception. During the course of the evening, someone started hurling racial insults at Alonzo, and tensions began to rise. But some people calmed things down so that things didn't get out of hand. Later, 2 of the friends decided to go home with an acquaintance, and Alonzo stayed with the driver of the car they had all come in. His name was Adam. They agreed to go home together, but a little later so they can enjoy the evening a little longer. Adam, having run out of cigarettes, decides to go and get some from a shop a little further on. He offers Alonzo to come with him, but Alonzo decides to stay behind, and knowing that he was not smoking. Adam sets off by car and after 30 minutes realizes that he's totally lost. He calls Alonzo to tell him that by the time he finds his way back, he won't be coming back to live again, and Adam decides to go home. He tells Alonzo to ask around at the party, but that several people should be heading home. Let's face it, guys, it was a bit of a bastard move on his part. They go off to a party together, and in the end, he decides to go off without him, leaving him at a party where his buddy doesn't know a soul. The next morning, Alonzo's mother calls all the friends they went to the party with, because he never came home and nobody's seen him. The search began and things quickly became alarming. When a few miles from the house where the party was being held, they found the boot and hat Alonzo Brooks had been wearing lying by the road. Police teams with dogs were dispatched to the area, but to no avail. The search continued for weeks without result, until a month later, when family and friends were allowed to go and investigate where the party had taken place. And it was there that the lifeless body of Alonzo Brooks was found, near a river close to the party house. The body showed no signs of trauma, fracture or drowning. It had just been placed in a particular spot for no reason at all, raising the suspicion that it was no accident and that the body had probably been hidden elsewhere beforehand. One of his brothers speculated that it had probably been kept in a freezer for a while and then put back here afterwards. Unfortunately, the initial investigation was unsuccessful. The coroner was unable to determine the cause of death, which was therefore classified as an accident, and interviews with witnesses led to no arrests. In the end, the case was forgotten for years. On June 11, 2020, after more than a decade, the FBI and the Kansas Attorney General's office reopened the investigation after a broadcast on Netflix. The case was reopened as a cold case, and a reward of up to $100,000 was offered to anyone providing new information that could help solve Alonzo Brooks' death. What exactly happened to Alonzo Brooks? Who was responsible for his death? His mother Maria Ramirez, claimed it was a hate crime because of the color of his skin. Finally, the FBI decided to exhume Alonzo Brooks' body to search for new clues that might indicate what happened to him. For the first time, the authorities considered this to be a racially motivated crime and seemed to agree with the family that it was no accident. But the new autopsy in 2021 revealed that some of Brooks' injuries were incompatible with normal decomposition. According to Alonzo's mother, Maria, her son's killer committed a hate crime.
I'm Mexican and his father is black. So he's mixed race. They didn't target one race, they killed two. He was targeted because of the color of his skin.
It is impossible to believe that Alonzo's death was a suicide or that he accidentally fell into a relatively shallow creek in Lynn County, leaving behind his boots and hat, all without a single witness.
Police are also continuing to investigate a possible racist motive, as Brooks was one of 3 black people at the party, which took place in a predominantly white neighborhood. In support of this theory, Brooks' friends claim that he was the target of several racist insults during the party. They also claim that a white man approached him angrily and speculate that this may have been because Brooks was flirting with a white woman. Several fights broke out that evening, but it's unclear whether Brooks was involved in any of them, as the witnesses came forward during the initial investigation. As crazy as it sounds, Netflix has helped bring this case back to the surface with a documentary series created by the same creators as the original Unsolved Mysteries and produced by the same people behind Stranger Things. In fact, Unsolved Mysteries co-creator Terry Dunmerer told Entertainment Weekly that his team had been following Alonzo's disappearance since 2017, long before launching the series on Netflix. And it's thought that the episode's production may have been what triggered the reopening of the investigation. There are still no answers, but fans of the series already have their own theories about what might have happened, and have also reportedly sent clues to the police. These theories are based on the Netflix documentary. As mentioned before, and prior research was done by its creators and agents for its development. And from there, some Reddit users had their take. A user named Ariane94 claims to be a Kansas resident who has been following the Alonzo Brooks case for years, and claims that a few people seem to be connected to the events of the series. According to this theory, the suspect could be Patty, Jerry Boone, 2 brothers who have been mentioned as persons of interest in the case in the past. Tiffany Boone, the woman Alonzo allegedly spoke with at the party, and Mandy Jenkins, a relative of the Boone brothers who allegedly confessed during a drinking binge to having been involved in Brooks' murder. The second theory concerns Alonzo's friends. The user called Gun Brothers Gaming says he finds it suspicious that his friends left him alone at the party. The theory says it's strange that these friends left Alonzo at a party when they didn't know anyone else, and that their alibi isn't very convincing. Adding that
2004 was not the year of cell phones. How did they communicate? Justin got lost and then got stuck. That was convenient. He called to say he wasn't coming back and asked his friend Adam to take Alonzo home. We're in the middle of nowhere. Where did Justin intend to get a pack of cigarettes? He'd already said he didn't know the city and small towns. It was after 11 p.m. Where was he going to smoke after 11 p.m. in a small town that probably closed its doors at 8 p.m.? If this town was small, and even if Justin had a cell phone, were they in the middle of nowhere and did they have cell phone reception? Maybe, that could be plausible, but even today, I don't get crappy cell reception in places like this. I think they had more to do with the murder than they let on. They each had an alibi for where they were. Someone else noticed all these misinterpretations during the episode. The police need to look at the dubious white friends and start asking them for answers, because there are serious gaps in their story.
Finally, another theory asks how Alonzo Brooks died, which we haven't been able to determine. The body showed no signs of violence or drowning, but it is thought that he may have been locked in a freezer and left there to freeze to death.
Because of the condition of his remains, some people suggest that he was kept in a meat freezer until he was dumped in the river, writes Goober Smooch. While this is an appalling suggestion, I don't think we can rule out that Alonzo was put into a freezer alive, perhaps very drunk or even unconscious, and left to die cleanly.
In the series, it even said that the authorities visited the party house the next day, but found it empty, which could indicate that there never really was a party and that it was all part of a plan to kill Alonzo Brooks, or that Brooks' killers had been to the party, informed his relatives of what they have done, and helped them clean up to protect them. But none of this can be proven. And you, what do you think of this case? I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this case. This is very interesting to have your point of view and your rumors about what really happened to Alonzo Brooks. For me, it was very complicated to really identify what could be the reason, but I think it's a hate crime for sure. I find like no other explanation to it, but let me know if you have any other kind of cases like this. I would be more than interesting to work on them. In any case, I will tell you see you this next Friday on this same channel. Bye bye.